Here's a quick little info share for all my Oregonians that are filled with powerful opinions about this 2025 Oregon State Legislature SB777. So, this is all about giving people taxpayer money for supposed wolf predation on their property. And another part of this that people don't understand is dogs, working dogs. So these dogs out on these Oregon farms, I've noticed this personally. If you go for a drive around Eastern Oregon, outside of Prineville, Metolius, Madras, and these other farms, guys, they don't need working dogs. We have the technology, the corrals, the gates, electronic timers, working dogs to run out like in the middle of Australia to corral stuff. We don't need working dogs. But what these working dogs are, they're just domestic dogs that Oregonians get because they want to be all about that rancher life, all about that lifted truck with the Aussie dog. I'm a real forager. I'm all about nature. And I see these stray dogs all over the place. Like almost hitting them out by the farms. They're not a working dog. They're people's domestic dogs that happen to live out on the farm. And the huge thing about this is, let me show you guys. Domestic dogs attract wolves. So you're out there on your quote unquote farm or ranch property and you got a few animals, some chickens and stuff, whatever. You should definitely take care of your livestock. But these domestic dogs attract wolves. Not only that, they kill chickens all the time. They get into chicken coops, stray dogs get into chicken coops, and screw over people's laying hens. But you won't hear about that. So, when you have a bunch of domestic dogs running around on your property, barking at anything and everything, you're going to have wolves. And you see this in like Sisters, Oregon, other places in Oregon where wolves randomly show up close to like tight apartments and other areas. And what are those areas full of? Barking, yapping little frickin' dogs. Like these. This is like one of the most popular dogs in Oregon. All of the lifted truck, Oregonian. I got big tires on my big old big truck, and I know a guy that has a couple cattle. They all have these dogs on their property in the back of their truck. They call them a working dog. They call them a ranch dog. But it ain't nothing but a freaking pet. It's nothing but a pet. All over the place I see these dogs running on the street, out by farms, just running around chasing the wind. So you think that if I see a few of these stray dogs, that wolves see them and hear them barking and it triggers their prey drive and they want to come over and start a little shit? Hell yeah, they do. And these dogs that are all over Oregon, they're attracting the wolves. And Oregon people are going to think this is all great because, oh, we're going to get tax money to fend these wolves off. Okay, well, guess what's going on in the meantime? Guess what else Oregon is doing to you with your tax money? They're bringing in sick dogs from all over the country. Oh, a flood happens. Oh, a tornado happens. Charity organization fills your state with a bunch of dogs from frickin' Oklahoma, California, Texas, all over the place. Yeah. So, I mean, this is all just a grift. Think about it. If they fill your state with a bunch of these type of dogs, and then they're out there in your neighborhoods and farms and ranches and hay growing places, well, the wolves are going to see that too. If I can see it out on a drive, if I can see it on the internet, the wolves with their ears and their prey drive and their territorial mindset, they're going to freaking see it too. They're going to be out there in the woods and they hear your dogs barking and whining and crying. Oh yeah, they're going to come over there. And if there's some cattle and goat that they can feed on, well, you just lured those wolves onto your property with these out-of-state problem dogs that your state uses your tax money to bring to your state. And stray dogs don't just attract wolves, but all over our country, not just Oregon, chickens, people's backyard chickens, constantly having problems with people's stray dogs. So not only are they attracting wolves, but stray dogs themselves are a huge problem for chickens and many other wildlife. While we sit back and worry about wolves, well, okay, but then how come domestic dogs get to just get away with all this shit? And domestic dogs are twofold part of the problem. They attract wolves while they also kill people's chickens, goats, attack people's llamas, attack people's horses, attack people's cattle. But we're so worried about wolves. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. Another thing that's curious about all this, there's already laws in place for ranchers and farmers to protect their livestock. So, have you guys noticed that this whole wolf predation thing has been pushed out? Like so many people on Facebook, constantly reposting it, out of context stories, constantly posting pictures of dead animals with the picture of a wolf in the background. Why do you think that's pushed out so much? Because they want this to go into law, which is going to allow Oregon to take more taxes from you because they're going to, save your dogs and save your livestock from wolves. And actually, they're not going to save them from wolves. They're just going to allow you to have compensation. Which, at the end of the day, you're just incentivizing people to allow the wolves on your property. Like, oh, my dogs did attract a couple wolves. Gee, I guess that is true. Well, the government will give us more money, so ha 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 ha. So, yeah, there's a lot more to understand about this bill than everybody knows. So if you live in Oregon and you think this bill is like the be all end all fix for wolf predation, I highly recommend uh, looking a little bit deeper and widening your perspective